Welcome, Wendy. We have Wendy Vineyard with us tonight, and Wendy specializes in empowerment living over 40. Is
Yes.
that? Did I say that
Yes,
right?
yes, that works.
Yeah. And I know people call it different things, and there's a little bit of a stigma with the word age, even the concept of aging, right?
Sure.
But the reality is that part of the empowerment is coming to terms with that. That is the reality, right? That is what's happening. I know, it's like all these competing thoughts going through my head.
We especially have grown up in an era of youth is everything. You want to be youthful. You value young people, not old people, which is kind of sad because
I know, because they hold experience.
They have experience and wisdom to share. And I said the word they, and now I'm one of them.
They have all the experience. I love it. I have your book here with me, which I know is part of your strategy that you do, which is look and feel 10 years younger naturally.
Yes.
So
yes.
I love it how you are mixing a whole bunch of things. You are speaking of the inside of. I know you focus a lot on nutrition and emotional health and things like that. But there's an area that you and I have touched leisurely, but kind of seriously a couple of times, which is, there's this big shift that is occurring now in people, right? Where, when women and men, it's not just women, but when couples or people are coming into their 40s, there's a lot of changes that are going on, and I don't mean just physically, which we used to think of as changes. There's a lot of changes in our dynamic, in our family dynamic, in work. And one of the ones that is the biggest one comes when you're starting a new relationship.
Right.
The second time around, or third time around. Or ending one.
And
exactly.
Then how do you move forward? Right?
So you're the lady to see us through.
I've been there, done that.
I know, and successfully.
And very successfully.
Yeah.
My husband and I have been together for 19 years.
Wow. Excellent.
And married for 13 of those. So
Okay.
I consider that a success.
I say that is, of course.
Yeah. And of course there are secrets to that success. Not everybody knows them. But we're here to talk about starting over.
Yes, we are.
And how do you get out there and think of yourself as being someone else would desire if you've been with one person for many years and been a mom, perhaps.
It's like the last time I dated, I was in university.
Well,
you know what I mean? That's
do.
the reality of it.
And I remember thinking, boyfriend. Seriously, boyfriend. I have to call him my boyfriend.
I know.
But it really is about an awakening, isn't it? It's starting over, but it's going on to something even better than what you had, hopefully, if you've been paying attention.
Oh, I like that. Sorry, light bulb. I often encounter, I don't do the type of facilitation that you do. So normally I refer people to coming your way because you are the expert. But I do encounter a lot of people in their career where they end up mentioning their relationship. And one thing that seems to be a common trend, and I'll let you break it down for us, is that women and men, but we're going to stick to women, seem to date or have a relationship with the same men.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
But with different faces.
Exactly.
What is that about?
I mean, that's about learning a lesson. It's about visualizing what you want and letting go of the past, knowing that it's kind of easier to know what you don't want than it is to know what you do want. However, when you decide what you do want and you focus on that, you do get something different. That's the good news. The bad news is that you got to stay focused.
Right.
Right.
But you keep repeating the same. How do you even identify that is what you're doing?
Well, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is a definition of
yes.
insanity. So,
Yes.
so we must own our own stuff
Yeah.
and decide that we're going to do things differently. The marriage or the relationship didn't end all by itself, mysteriously. There were reasons.
Mhm.
And so to be able to move forward, you've got to decide what it is that you really want. Take a look back at what you had and what wasn't working. Maybe it was communication, you didn't communicate well. Maybe it was compatibility. Maybe it was respect. And respect in a relationship, in my way of thinking, is pretty much number one at the top. Because if you don't respect each other, if you're yelling and calling each other names and having bad arguments where people feel used, abused, and annihilated, that's not the basis for a long-term marriage or a relationship. So to be able to identify the areas where you maybe have had the greatest dissatisfaction would help you to think about, well, what's the opposite of that?
And you know, when we think respect or being disrespected, right? We do think of the yelling, we do think of the name calling, but there is a more friendly disrespect.
Oh, how so? Tell me more.
Friendly disrespect. We just coined a new phrase.
All right.
Friendly disrespect is labeling, and it doesn't have to be, oh, you're this. It has to be a, you're emotional, or you're, you're impulsive,
or you're too sensitive.
Correct.
Or you're a spendthrift.
Yeah, or you're put in this box, right?
Right.
Where you're not allowed to grow.
Right.
And that is another. It's not disrespect. It is not honoring, right? It's a different. It's a different.
Yeah, and
take on it.
The in thinking about this interview, I was thinking about how to end it. So I'm going to bring that material right up in my head, and I'm going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
So how is the best way to be when you're looking for a new partner and you're feeling unsure, you're feeling like a teenager again, but you don't look like a teenager, and you have a lot more wisdom than a teenager.
Sure.
So,
although people now, because everybody's dating older, everybody seems to be better. You can almost tell who's single and who's in a relationship, men and women.
Okay.
Because they seem a little bit better groomed than people who are not in a relationship. I don't know if this is, labeling or right on my part, but
it's a perspective. I can respect that. However, the expert that I talked to in preparation for this interview, his name is Craig Gleason, and he runs Love Life Canada, which is a matchmaking company. Okay. Right? A matchmaking.
Where is he?
Whoa.
He needs to come and be part of these.
So he was giving some advice about.
What was he saying?
He was saying that if you really want to have a relationship, as opposed to a hookup, which apparently a lot of them are doing these days, which, okay, whatever. But we're talking about relationships, I think.
I don't know what we're talking about. We're dating in our 40s, 50s, yeah.
And the idea is to be yourself. So if you don't know yourself, you got to get to know yourself. And you got to get to know what makes you happy, so that in a relationship, you're not being anybody other than who you really are. And the other person loves it.
Without fear, right?
Without fear, without reservation, with thinking that I gotta be somebody different to be accepted. I mean, oh my goodness, that's just not the way that you're gonna build something, right? When you want to build something solid, you gotta bring your whole self to it. You gotta be vulnerable. You gotta just be who you are.
So to contact you, you're a member of the wellness group.
I am a member of the wellness group.
That's probably one of the best ways.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
Find you. And you always have workshops that come up.
Yeah,
I'll
be doing workshops in the fall and the winter.
And, we'll update everyone as to what's going on.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to be one conversation of many, because I get asked a lot of questions, and I have a lot of questions, and we all have a lot of questions about these. And, thank you so much.
Oh,
for
my pleasure.
being
My
like
pleasure.
to-
Absolutely. It's
to
so much fun.
people. Yeah, it is. It is, and I know you have passion and great ability. So
Thank you.
just want to